I'm your welcome to 23. You're joining me for Titanic, episode 14. Mateo and I cling to the more sure-footed Charlie as we totter down the stairwell. The water's ankle deep on the F deck, dark and freezing. It's cold. The breath rushes out of my body, each inhalation rattling through my chattering teeth. While I'm absolutely in favor of performing daring rescues, are we quite sure Helene's still down here? I have to make sure. My tone is sharp, Mateo grimaces, but surprisingly it's Charlie who speaks up. She may have moved to a higher deck to avoid the flooding. But it's only just begun. I don't think the passengers in steerage realize we've struck an iceberg. Perhaps not. The crew's worried about the panicking people, especially as there aren't enough lifeboats. We're interrupted by an approaching older gentleman. I can see him trying to control his panic.
I beg your pardon, but are you, by any chance, Miss Adele Karim?
He sloshes through the frigid water, but as he nears, I realize that I have never seen him before.
Forgive me, we may not have been introduced, but are you Lena Montague's cabin mate, are you not?
Do I know you? I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't recall making your acquaintance.
William Minley, at your service. I'm a good friend of Miss Montague's. She was hoping to introduce us as breakfast, but...
I nod cautiously, and he relaxes. I remember the outlines of him now.
The two of us were leaving the Turkish baths when the ship suddenly jolted. Lena fairly injured her leg.
How bad is it? Is she able to move? Will she be alright? Despite everything else, I can't help but worry for my friend.
I fear her leg is broken. She can't walk, and I can't move her myself.
Charlie hesitates for a moment, then places a comforting hand on the man's shoulder. The baths aren't far. We'll help you with her. Wait, what about Helene? We'll find her after. This won't take long if we hurry. You can't possibly believe that. I'm a steward, Mateo. It's my duty to help a passenger in need, and that's what I'm doing. If I need to find you after, I'll catch up, but I am going. Charlie, you aid Lena. We'll get Helene. Mateo and I will keep looking for Helene. You meet us after you help Lena. Charlie frowns, but covers it quickly. He can't be surprised that I'm choosing to help my sister. And keep heading towards steerage. I'll find you, I swear it. He turns to William and says, "Come on." Mateo touches my elbow as the two of them disappear around a corner. His voice is strong and sure when he whispers, "You made the right choice. Helene needs you now." I nod in reply, and we head off in the opposite direction. The water's rising slowly. Every now and then a surge rises to my shins, leaving me shivering. Mateo irritably picks away a piece of paper caught on his leg. While blind obedience is a fine quality in Cezita's Cocker Spaniel, it isn't quite as impressive in a grown man. He smiles, barely a twitch of his lips, and his tone is darker than usual. That boy's idealism is going to get him killed, and us with him. He's just doing his job. He has a duty to passengers. I admire him for refusing to abandon it, even if it means that he abandons us. A rigid code of honor is not, in my opinion, honor at all. That's an easy opinion for you to have. It must be simple to stand to one side and criticize another man's principles when you have none of your own. I have plenty of principles. I simply make sure they are suited to the moment at hand. Those pretenses are not principles. People like us can't afford idealism, Adele. We make the choices we must, then we live with the consequences. Ponderous words as we round the corner and come face to face with a crowd of passengers heading towards the upper decks. But unlike the upper-class ladies and gentlemen at the grand staircase, this is a ragtag group from steerage. Mateo and I push our ways through, but in the tight confines of the corridor, it's like swimming upstream. Look for Helene. Scan the faces in the crowd, hoping to recognize my sister among them. Mateo holds my hand tightly, as if afraid I'll be swept away by the surge of bodies. I don't see Helene. but I do spot Gustav, the Swedish boy who she has been dallying with. I call out to him. After a moment of confusion, he recognizes me and returns my greeting. I'm looking for Helene. Have you seen her?
No, I haven't seen her since... No, I'm sorry.
I realize the awkward position I've put him in. Whatever fleeting connection he and my sister had have formed is no longer there.
Maybe she's with the family in the cabin.
Thank you, Gustav. We'll go check the cabin. You get to safety. He hesitates. He's scared, feels guilty for leaving Helene behind. Mateo senses it as well and steps in to spur the lad to action. Just follow the crowd, boy. I'll lead you to safety. Gustav rushes off to catch up with the rest of the passengers, heading to the top deck. Mateo and I plunge further into the depths. Despite the freezing water on our feet and the steady stream of evacuees, we make good progress until we reach the passage leading to the third-class cabins. An iron gate has been pulled across the corridor, unlocked. A steward stands guard on our side, shouting at the desperate crowd pressing opposite.
Go back! You can't get through here! Go to the other side of the ship!
I'll bet every damn gate to the third class has been shut. They're keeping the rabble down below while the rich get to safety. This is barbaric. Doesn't he realize he's sentencing these people to death? He knows, he just doesn't care. We rush towards the gate. At our approach, the steward turns in surprise at an attention drawn away from the mob. He's brandishing a small pistol, which he points at us with a shaky hand.
Stay back, the gate's closed. You have to go another way.
His voice is panicked, desperate. We aren't here to cause you trouble, but you need to open that gate.
I have my orders, the gate stays closed, nobody can pass.
In the face of Mateo's competent charm, he's lowered his weapon, but he still isn't willing to let us pass. Dazzle him, was that his name? Steward, I believe you know my employer, the incomparable Miss Sita Saran.
Sita Saran, the movie star?
Do you know any others? Miss Serde sent us to fetch something very valuable to her from the lower decks. So I insist you open this gate at once, or you'll answer to her. His resolve crumbles in the face of my faked arrogance. Raising his weapon, he orders the crowd back. He opens the gate just a crack, giving us our chance as we push through. The pleas from the crowd build to a deafening clamor. If only I could help them escape, but it's impossible with the steward standing right there. I saw it in silence. Stewart locks the gate behind us as the crowd surges against it once more, begging and pleading. You all should have just pushed the gate, I'm serious. Like, he can't shoot you all, I'm just saying. Plus he's unsure because of shaky hand. I know what fate awaits them, and my heart is heavy, but there's nothing I can do. I have to focus on my sister. We weave our way through the third-class corridors. The water isn't as deep on the end of the vessel. The stern seems to be rising as the bow slowly sinks. We reach Helene's cabin, and I throw open the door. What I see inside catches me completely off guard. My sister and her cabin mates, Miss Ruhana and her twin girls, are gathered between the tiny bunk beds. Their eyes are closed, their hands are clasping together in silent, concentrated prayer. Helene! Helene opens her eyes and her face lights up. She rushes over and wraps her arms around me. Adele, I was praying for your safety. Squeeze her in a tight, fierce hug that I never want to end. I break it off only when I feel a light tap on my shoulder. We need to hurry. He's right. I turn to Miss Ruhana, addressing her in Arabic. The ship is sinking. We must go to the upper decks to the lifeboats. Helene steps away from me and moves beside Miss Ruhana, who clasps her hands reassuringly. We already tried that. The crowd was pushing and shoving. The steward told us to stay calm, wait for our turn. Miss Ruhana brought us all back here. She didn't want us to be separated. In times of trouble and confusion, I find it best to pray. We must put our trust in God. Miss Ruhana has been teaching me how to open my mind to God's mercy. Helene is clearly impressed by Miss Ruhana's convictions. Mateo less so. It has been my been my extensive experience that the good Lord helps those who help themselves. I agree with that. It's very true. Lainey glares at him, but I interrupt her before she can start. At least you're safe, Helene. I'm glad you stayed here in this cabin, Helene, otherwise I wouldn't have found you. But now, we all need to go.
Nadal, God has reunited you and your sister. I'm grateful for that, but my family's path is still hidden. My children and I will never make it through the violence of the crowds to lifeboats, but not without getting separated or worse. And if we did, would they even let us aboard?
Her tone is calm. Not the calm of a fanatic, but the steady calm of one who has faced disaster and lived to tell the tale.
You go. We will stay together at peace for as long as we can. We will pray for answers and a path to safety.
But we can help you. Mateo and I can clear a path through the crowd, and my friend Zed is saving us space on the lifeboats.
I think you have enough trouble on your own with his dark face.
I'm willing to try.
We are all trying. It is not in your power to save me.
Elena reaches out and squeezes my hand. She takes a deep breath before speaking.
I want to stay here with Miss Rohana and her daughters.
No, the hell you're not. I will knock you unconscious. What?
You always told me to stand up for what I believe in, to fight for what matters to me.
Oh, this is the worst time for this crap.
Miss Rohana and her daughters matter to me. They took me in, comforted me when I was scared, took care of me when I got seasick. And it's not just that. She taught me about our culture and our heritage. She showed me God when I had forgotten his face. They've put their faith in God, and so have I. I won't leave them.
Please? Don't do this. You have to come with me. You have to. Struggle with the words, settling on the simplest plea I can make. You could die.
I could. We all could. If it happens, I'd rather do it here.
What? Oh my god.
This is my path, Adol, not yours. You don't have to understand it. Go. Try to get to the lifeboats. Be true to yourself.
Please, we're sisters. You're my sister, Helene. You and me, we're family, don't you see? Come with me. That's all I ask. That's the only thing I'll ever ask of you. Come with me here and now. Helene turns from me and looks back at Miss Rohana. I can see she's torn, and it makes my chest ache.
Go, Helene, your sister needs you.
Helene finally nods and then goes over to give Miss Rohana and each of the children a tearful hug. Miss Rohana kisses Helene on the forehead and then gives me a sad smile.
You are good to her. Maybe one day you will take her to Lebanon.
You can escape with us. You don't have to stay behind. I promise I'll keep you and your children safe.
Thank you, Adol. But you know our decision. Goodbye, Miss Rohana. Thank you for everything. Goodbye, Helene. We'll pray for you. All of you.
Sister turns away without another word and follows Mateo and me out the door. We step into the corridor outside Miss Rohana's cabin just as Charlie appears around the corner. Helene, I'm glad to see you. How did your errand of mercy progress? I had to split Lena's leg, but she's on her way to the boat deck. It won't be so easy for us, though. It's a wreck, and no mistake. Half the evacuation routes are flooded. Gates locked. Nobody knows where to go. You've got to track up your slave. I know that look. You have some kind of plan brewing. There might be a way for us to escape, but the rest of the passengers... The flooding hasn't reached all the cabins yet. People aren't even aware that we're abandoning ship, Adele. They're asleep.
Then we should wake them. Charlie's a steward. They'll believe him.
There's no point if the gates are locked. I won't wake a man to tell him he's dead and there's no way out. We could tell them to put on their life belts. Warn them which gates are locked. Some might survive. Or they all die anyway. But because of us, they know it's coming. You know, I've always thought of this. And it's like for me, I would rather die in my sleep than to clutch my chest as my last breath was taken from me. It's the one thing I ask for: a swift, quick death. Painless. Mateo's right. It's too cruel. It would be worse to give them false hope. We might not be able to save ourselves. I fear that Helene is disappointed in me, but I'm more worried about getting all of us to the lifeboats. Charlie leads us through the maze of corridors, winding back and forth and back again. After a while, the ship is tilting so sharply it's like walking a gentle hill. We reach another flooded section of the vessel and wade through the shin-high water until we reach a locked gate. Charlie, I ask you this with all the understanding I can muster. Are you in fact lost? Mateo's tone is more worried than mocking. Charlie closes his eyes, running through the ship's layout in his head. We could retrace our steps. Turn right, 3 lefts back. There would be another gate there, but it might be locked now too. There must be a better way than trying gates at random. There is. Maybe. He scowls, and I'm not sure if he's thinking or just reluctant to speak. It's dangerous, but I know a way. Spit it out. This is hardly the time for suspenseful pause, Charlie. We could go to the orlop deck, make our way through the boiler room. Isn't the orlop deck below us? The pumps for the boilers will keep the water levels in check, at least for a while. We can cross to the other side of the ship and avoid the gates. It does sound dangerous. About as dangerous as staying here. Well, that decides that we're going. Charlie takes the lead as the 4 of us make our way even deeper into the sinking ship. I reach out and take Helene's hand. Whatever happens, at least she's with me again. I draw comfort from that and the strength for whatever lies ahead. This book is going to be the death of me. Anyway, I was about to get mad if Helene wanted to stay. Like, I'm serious. I was going to get really, really mad. Like, we came all this way for you, girl. You get the f out of here right now or I'm knocking you out. I'm serious. Like, anyway. Without further ado, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And now description below, links to social media, Discord, and if you'd like to support me and my content. Remember, we're just a couple chapters away from being completely done with this book. Though, they say there is going to be, continuations of different characters and things like that, from my understanding, so. But, we are just a couple chapters away. And without further ado, thanks for watching. Catch you all in the next video. Peace.